So today we are going to Pasar Baru. It is located in the central of Jakarta. And what we are going to do there, we are going to find some textiles and zipper, buttons, rubber for a shirt that I'm going to make. So Pasar Baru has already established since 18th, and there's a lot of things that being sold here, such as tailor, clocks, hand watch. I'm going to show you.
Ini satu meter.
And this one I choose it because it has this pattern and it's striped. So I have decided to make two shirts. One is the color is ivory, and the other one is black.
Okay, now let's move on to the making of the puffed shirt. First, you're gonna need to prepare paper, desk ruler, reading ruler, French curve ruler, pattern, fabric scissor, pan, drawing pan, sewing push pin needle, tape, notebook, zipper, button. First, you're gonna need to prepare a pattern based on your shirt design. In this video, I was planning to make a classic puffed shirt. Initially, I will calculate my body composition such as chest circumstances, bust height, breast distance, from waist length, and etc. I used to study pattern making before, therefore, I use Italian standard calculation formula. Yup, the pattern is finished and ready. Now, roll out the paper, and in here, I suggest you to use prep paper because in a later step, you will copy the preliminary pattern in different paper. And don't forget to tape every edge of paper so it won't be moving while you draw the pattern. You have to redraw your pattern that you have calculated in accordance with your body size on the prep paper. Actually, required next step after you have finished redraw the pattern on the paper is copying your pattern on different paper and add some seam allowance on each part. After copying and add some seam allowance, you can start to cut each part. This design will consist of 4 parts for the body and 2 parts more for the sleeves. Now, it's time to touch the fabric. Roll out the fabric and don't forget to iron them first, so the fabric will be smooth and straight and to avoid any folding fabric. The unintended folding fabric can ruin your pattern calculation. With 4 pieces of the body part, you can start arranging on the top of the fabric. Make sure that the fabric is enough with all pieces of the pattern and they go with all the same direction. After finished arranging it, Pin each part with sewing push pin needle. I am placing the sewing push pin needle exactly in the seam allowance with the same direction. Little tips, it will help you to avoid needle when cutting and sewing the fabric. Needle is a very common thing happen when sewing. And it's time to cut the fabric. Cut the fabric with the fabric scissors and try not to leave the fabric at all while cutting. It will avoid the big difference with your pattern calculation. After finishing cutting the fabric, carefully remove all the sewing push pin needle. After that, you have to cut neatly all sides of the piece of the fabric with an overlock machine to lock the edges of the fabric that is raveling, so that the constituent threads are not separated. Next, attach the edges to be connected with the pin needle. Remember, the two sides that are connected with the pin needle must be on the inside of the shirt, not on the outside, because you will sew it from the inside. Now, you can sew it. Make sure all the threads have the same color with the fabric. In the sewing machine, there's a ruler for seam allowance. Try your best not to move the fabric when you have decided on how long of the seam allowance you have taken. If not, the calculation will be wrong and differ with your initial pattern, and your sewing will be not neat. Yup, I know. Now you can start to see where this is going. To prepare the sleeve, you have to calculate the armhole first, so it will match with the armhole for the sleeves. Repeat all the steps by making the calculation first for the pattern. Then redraw the pattern on the paper, make some seam allowance, then cut the pattern. Prepare the remaining fabric, then positioning the pattern into the fabric. Pin it with a pin needle, cut it with a fabric scissor, and cut neatly all edges of the fabric with an overlock machine. To make a puff shirt, you need to stick the rubber in the tip of your sleeve, and you have to pull the rubber to the fabric while sewing it. There's a little bit difference in making sleeve with preparing the body part. In making the sleeve, you have to connect two edges for connecting the side of the arm. Small talk. For those who are curious in studying fashion, I would like you to know that designing fashion is like being an architect. The difference is that the architect calculates to build a building, both considering exterior and interior. Meanwhile, fashion design calculates a cloth as a building of each unique size of human body. Fun fact, it requires not only creativity, but also a strong logic of math. For finalizing, sew the zipper and stitch the button. If you're interested to learn a complete lessons together with other detail, Dear Jolie is planning to open a workshop. We do really curious about your feedback. Please click the link on the description below to go to our website, and we're really looking forward for your feedback.